So we've all heard of the phrase whistle while you work, right? But what about walk while you work? Now, I've always been curious about those walking pads and how people can work and walk at the same time, and is it as truly easy as whistling and working? Although I'd argue that whistling and working is probably harder because girl can't whistle. Oh, snap, I whistled, hold on. Well, for a second. But anyways, so is walking while you work actually feasible? Does it feel good to do? And can you concentrate while doing it? Well, I am gonna go over all those topics in today's video, as well as share about a treadmill that I got from YRUN that was recently sent to me. And I wanna go through a little review of that treadmill that I've been using for the past few weeks. And yes, I have been walking while I've been working, and clearly not whistling. All right, so let's dive in. So I've been dying to get a treadmill for under my desk for a long time. And I've kind of held back on getting one for a few different reasons. One of those being like, I didn't know if I could actually focus while walking. And I was a little hesitant to, add that into the mix. I already have ADHD, so adding in another thing to be doing at the same time as working sounded a little risky for me. But I'm an active person at the end of the day, and I crave movement. And sitting at a desk all day or just standing, because my desk does have a riser, it kills my mood. And as much as I try to get walks in when I can, the air quality here in Chicago has been less than great lately. We've been getting a lot of the Canadian wildfire smoke over here, and it's just been really not great smoky air to breathe in for just health reasons, right? And on top of that, the Chicagoland area is known for having not so great winters. We get a lot of snow, a lot of ice, definitely not favorable walking conditions. So I do tend to feel very cooped up in the wintertime and miss my outdoor walks. So the under the desk treadmill kind of seemed like a great way to get my steps in, try introducing that into my work life, but also just something I can do when I'm not working. If I wanted to walk and watch a TV show, or even just do a brief jog and not have to worry about the terrible air quality outside, or ice or snow. And honestly, another reason I've been really wanting to try out one of these under the desk treadmills to be able to walk during my workday is because I've had knee surgery. So if you haven't seen my other videos, I had knee surgery back in 2020. I had my ACL reconstructed, and if I don't move my knee fairly regularly throughout the day, my knee tends to get a little stiff. So I figured that walking while working could also be a great way to keep my joints moving. Speaking of Chicago weather, you guys, if you are hearing a faint buzzing in the background, it's because I refuse to turn off my AC for this video today because it is like 98 degrees, and I normally turn off my AC for these videos so you're not hearing that like subtle whir in the background of an AC running. I can't do it today, so if it's annoying, I apologize. Otherwise, you're gonna be seeing me in a puddle. So considering all these reasons I was kind of chewing on in the background of why I really was thinking about getting a under the desk treadmill, I jumped at the opportunity when YRUN reached out to me and wanted to ship over their treadmill for me to try out and review. Very excited about it. But I do want to note this really quick because I think it is important to be transparent with you guys. For any products that I am sent to review, I never commit to doing a review until I have used the product for a certain duration of time and actually enjoy it and like it to some extent that I feel comfortable sharing with you guys the pros and cons, and that it's a piece of equipment that's reliable. So for this particular treadmill, I've been using it for the past couple weeks. I wanted to make sure it was something, again, that lived up to a certain standard that I felt was appropriate to be able to share with my audience. So I want you guys to feel comfortable that I'm not just reviewing any product that's sent my way. I do kind of sort through and make sure to test them out myself if I haven't already been using the product for a while. So first off, I want to start by talking about the unboxing and setup experience. Aside from hauling it up the stairs of my apartment, it was really, really easy to set up. It is a little heavy to carry up by yourself. It's an odd, long treadmill shaped box. So this particular treadmill from YRUN does not fold in half. It is in its long form. So, it's about 60 pounds. It's not too heavy, but in its shape, it's a little awkward to carry up on your own, but I did it. But I will say the setup took about 5 minutes or less. It was so easy to get out of the box, get it set up. The manual was very clear. There was only a few pieces to install. Very simple. There's basically the main frame of the treadmill, your handlebar attachment, which they have 2 little kind of screws that you would put in the side to attach it, and then the phone mount on top. And that's pretty much it. So super simple to set up, really easy, and to kind of move it in position, also very easy because it has wheels on it. So you can just pick it up by one side and kind of roll it to wherever you'd like it to be. So like I said, I've been using this treadmill for a few weeks now, just testing it out, seeing what I thought, really getting familiar with the features. And there are several things that I really like about this treadmill. Number one, I was worried about it being loud. I am on the second floor, so there are people living below me in this apartment complex, and I really didn't want to be causing a ruckus above them, nor do I want this really loud machine going on all day if I'm working or on Zoom calls or anything like that. So I was kind of worried about how loud it's going to sound. But to my surprise, this thing was actually very quiet. It registers at about 45 decibels or less. So besides from it being very quiet, I was also pleasantly surprised to see how durable this thing was. I was worried, I was like, okay, if it's quiet, can it really like crank up the speed? And here's the cool thing about this treadmill in particular. Most other like walking pads or under the desk treadmills tend to only go up, to 3-4 miles per hour, sometimes 5. This one with the handlebar down, and I'll talk about the handlebar attachment in a second. Handlebar down, so just a flat walking pad, goes up to about 3.7 miles per hour. But with the handlebar up, which it registers then it is in run mode and can go significantly higher in speed, this treadmill can crank it up to 8.6 miles per hour, which is a full run. And when I was running on it, this thing was pretty darn sturdy. It seems to have really good shock absorption for such a small treadmill, for how quiet this thing is and how easy it is to maneuver around. So revisiting the handlebar feature, I do really like that it has this handlebar that comes up and down that you can keep on when you are going fast if you need to be able to hop off really quickly on the sides of the treadmill if it is going too fast for whatever reason. I like that the handlebar has a little attachment piece for your phone, which is nice and adaptable for all sizes. And I really like that the handlebar is super sturdy, so you can actually pick it up and roll it by the handlebar itself once you adjust it back down, and it's just really easy to move around. So it's pretty multifunctional. It's a nice added stability piece, which I'm a fan of. The other thing I really like is that this treadmill has a remote that's really easy to use. The treadmill is very responsive to it. There's not like a delay in, adjusting the speed up or down or pausing it or whatever. And there's a little like slot that you can put the remote in that handlebar attachment, so that way you don't lose it. There's also a nice safety device strap that comes along with it. So if you are jogging or walking and let's say you fall off or stumble or anything bad happens, like or if you need to jump off of it for whatever reason, there's that safety clip where if you yank on it, it'll stop the device completely. So that's always a nice safety precaution to have added into a treadmill as well. Okay, so let's move on and talk about some of the things that I don't love as much about this treadmill. And really guys, there's not much, but one of the things that I don't love is that it is in one giant piece. There are other walking pads and treadmills out there that fold in half and can store that in that way. Basically fold in half, you could store it underneath something or you can store it up against a wall very easily and it doesn't take up much space. This particular treadmill does not have that fold in half feature. It is flat. So I suppose if you had a couch or you can even store it under the bed, right, in one long, big piece, totally fine, that could work out well. But I do kind of wish it folded in half. Typically with treadmills that do fold in half, you're gonna pay a little bit more for them too. So keep that in mind, it's always a trade-off. The other thing that I'm not a huge fan of, but again, I understand why it is this way, is it's a little heavy to move around. It's a little clunky because it is in that one giant big piece. So to kind of wheelbarrow it around the room and kind of get it to the angle you want to store it away, it can take a little bit. It's kind of clunky in that way, but again, that speaks to the durability of the treadmill itself. It is very durable. I understand why it's a little heavier, maybe a little harder to move around, but thank goodness there's wheels for that. So aside from just the features and the aspects of the treadmill, I want to talk about like my experience of using it and working and how I've been feeling while using it. So first things first, I've been able to get in tons of miles while I'm working. Really easily got in 3 to 4 miles today as I was casually working, getting back to emails, doing some client work, super nice to be able to do that, and I barely noticed I was moving, to be honest, which also speaks to the second thing that I like. It actually made me way more focused in my work. So it did the opposite is what I thought it would do. I thought it was going to distract me in some ways and make me feel like I was focusing on too many things and trying to stay on the treadmill. But once I was on the treadmill track, it felt fairly normal to kind of just stay moving in that direction. I didn't feel like I was going to walk off of it. It feels like a nice wide track, so enough for me to kind of, if I did wander to one side or the other, I was okay. So it actually made me more focused, which is kind of incredible in some ways. And I think that just speaks to kind of getting your blood going and getting yourself kind of in that state where your heart rate's up a little bit more, maybe feeling a little bit more alert in that capacity. It was similar to drinking a cup of coffee. And my knee has felt really great. I haven't had any knee stiffness or anything since using it in the past few weeks, so huge fan of that. So you guys, I am super excited to continue to use this treadmill from YRUN. Not only as an under the desk treadmill to use while I'm working, but also just to take a casual jog on if I want to exercise from home. It is really great to have that option here and not have to worry about going outside on bad weather days here in Chicago or when the air quality is not great, and just being able to do that from home is such a blessing. So if you guys are interested in checking out this treadmill from YRUN, I will go ahead and put the link down below in the description. You can check it out there. And if you do happen to get it, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your comments down below. So I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Are you in the camp of thinking that a walking pad or an under the desk treadmill would boost your productivity and help you out, or do you think it's gonna distract you? Like I said, I was pleasantly surprised. I am sold into this and I'm super excited to keep using it, but I'd love to hear what your guys' experiences or what your thoughts or beliefs might be behind it. And that just helps me better tailor content to you guys moving forward. And you guys, if you thought this review was helpful and you enjoyed it, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And until then, I will see you guys next time. Bye.